Hey, BB Babes, hey, how's it going? Alright, cool, so this one's a deep dive. This is episode 2, if you count, 3 if you count the shows with the such. Okay, so, I'm just gonna go through, like, what happened. Recap. Alright, starts with, HOH. Only the 3 people playing in the HOH, the, the people that, like, we, know from the universe, right? Um, so, blah blah blah. They all want it. Everyone's gunning for it. What we've learned in this competition before: if you hold the rope lower, you're more likely to be successful. The guy that almost won didn't hold, like, the rope was too high. It's just what it is. Angela's team, decent, really decent. Although she does have a player on her team that you could tell is already a little flustered with her. The other guy on the team being like, okay, we're gonna calm it down, but then that guy being like, rah, rah, and then she's being like, rah. So it was definitely a little interesting. And funny how the other lady over 50, I'll get names in the first few weeks, she's very, oh, well, I would have maybe played against her, but like right this second, it's not quite worth it, and it's like, oh, that's fair. Okay, so that being said, and then Dee's team wins, right? So Dee's now HOH. She does amazing. Her first whatever, she takes Angela in and they start the conversations. Love that. That is good for both of them for a lot of reasons. Um, they bring in the other survivor guy, Devins or whatever. That's going well. So they've got a core. They've already decided that that's their core, and they're not even going to talk about the fact that that's their core. So although the framing of the episode sort of brings in the other two parts of that alliance, that's the part of the alliance that we're going to see that, right? Assuming we don't have any complete blow-ups, which we'll see some cracks, this or that or whatever. Okay, so they reveal the torture room, the have not room. Super funny. The one guy like throwing his feet on the pillow area, the not throwing the feet on the pillow area. I'm actually super on board for this, like having to sleep in the same like bunk basically. This is a little bit different, but obviously like caveman was like the idea there in the play too. Yet it's funny because like in those types of eras of human history, right? People really did sleep more in piles. So them sleeping in a pile, but like leaving these like little like whatever. So we see that later in the show too, that the thing is like turns and stuff like that, and they like share and then like they the cold water and blah blah blah. Okay, so fun. Um, the conversations are going, right? We got that first 3 set that moved themselves into the HOH room. We sort of know that 3 set's either going to work with that HOH or not. We see that eventually that they do pull themselves into that HOH and survivors lineup and call that like the red corner things. I don't hate it. I see where it's going. I see why it's going. What's her face? Dee, smart of Dee. She's over here. Oh, is that gonna? Yeah. Well played. Yet, I think her main issue, and this is like throughout this episode and not quite just this moment, she's already a little too willing to run them under the bus, right? Like when you have a multiple or dual alliances, when you have multiple alliances, you wait and see until the alliances need to pull off with each other or not. If you want to get mad and like complain about like what some people are suggesting in the alliance, well, you're the ones setting up the safe spaces. So if you want those to be safe spaces, those are sort of your job to keep safe, right? And just the point. All right, cool. Yeah, but that and with Chuck and what's his face bringing in I think Haley, I find that interesting. One of the things that happens in the first week that people sort of, before you get too involved, you should set up the alliance obviously in the beginning because but you should like confirm the alliance in the second week or so because a lot of people start having those like love lines, right? Once those love lines pop in, that's when you really got to know like who's really worth the trust, right? Because they're gonna end up talking to the person they're talking to, and whether or not that's relevant to and whether or not you pull them in or not, or whether or not they gotta lie to the person about it, like, it's part of why the game's a game, right? Okay, that conversation, that little quick sideways with Angela and the drag queen, oh, loves. Like, who hasn't been there? Like, who hasn't been like, I I live my life and I've created my safe space. I put in my hard work to make sure that the people around me support me. And I'm in a brand new space again. You know, and Angela, you know, like, people don't give her credit. She's one of those people like, you know, fall into, right? And, so, okay. Good emotional, you know, moment. You know, just like side piece, but I'm glad we got to see it. Alright, cool. The girl trio, love that. They're all very similar and different in different ways. It would be nice to see them not get pushed over in the show in that way, right? Like in that conversation, you know, whatever. Yet we'll sort of see how that plays out, right? We've already got one of them moving themselves into a showmance, and they didn't really solidify a team. Yet, you know, with good effort and enough focus, it's not a bad treat, you know. Okay, cool. Dee's still amazing. Crossover alliance, that sort of works out well. They do one of those, like, fundamental mistakes by not really clearing if Barrett has any friends in the house yet. They sort of assume that everybody doesn't want to just, like, run towards him because he's, you know, he's big and, you know, fun and, you know, this and that. And plus, he's quiet. He's, like, sort of quiet that means there's probably more than one person that's, like, looking that way, right? So, you know, good luck particularly, but, you know, good asset regardless. So, and the Devins guy or whatever, him telling Angela about the RC one right away. Ballsy. Right? Okay, so, yeah, you want to express trust, right? You want to, especially Angela. Angela will pick out these little pieces and stuff like that, and you won't even know she's picking at them, and all of a sudden she got it, right? And you're like, oh, well, I'm not going to backtrack, it's just Angela. Well, Angela will fucking throw you under, Angela will throw you under the bus, not specifically on purpose, but just because she feels slighted. You know, he's not playing. So, you know, this and that, so whatever. And so, like, one of her trusts pops in, right? Like, they've got that 5 set, that crossover alliance, and that guy pops over, and he's like, oh, we should just tell him too then. And so now 4 of the 5 people, minus that Barrett guy, know about it. And now there's damage control moment, right? So he, at least, Devins or whatever, or at least knows that he's got to pop over and tell Dee. Cool. The survivor doubles. Ooh, you guys should sit and think about how to handle this a little bit better, right? Okay, so you can tell they're not BB players, right? Silly enough, you can. Because there's, you know, and everyone's got their whatever, but in my opinion, quickest way, double up the alliance. Let both of them exist and bring them in together. I know it doesn't sound super fun because, like, only supposed to be in 2. You just make another one tomorrow. Okay, like, find a 3rd alliance or a 4th, 5th alliance tomorrow. You put those 2 together, because another thing, BB, you can run with an 8-person, 12-person alliance sometimes in the first few weeks, and when it starts to drift apart, you're like, oh, haha, you know, and you say, and again, you don't even know if you really like them yet, right? So, like, you know, there's that, right? So, okay, so my first 2, if I was Dee in that specific, I would honestly combine the 2. And I would, and again, we do know that the Red Cross bylaws or RC group doesn't specifically love the Barrett guy, right? Yet, if they say dude's plus, then they're gonna plus dude. So that could have worked. She could have just added it together, like been like, oh, you know what? Let's put it together. A second part of that alternative, this and that, like, they're decent to her already, like, what's his face working really hard to, ensure, her safety with the whole, oh, well, maybe you don't, put someone on your own team up because, you do have to work with them every week for at least the first month or 2. Month or 3 weeks to 5 weeks or so, right? Some something. Okay, and again, the fact, so yeah, they could have doubled it up, and they could have told what's his face. The fact that they've left just one person of the group they like more out of the equation of the information, and that guy wasn't in the room. Yeah, be careful. Okay, And again, maybe don't give up on that first group quite yet. This and that. Lastly, yeah, and I think that was smart of him. Truly hey, let's, one-on-one, this and that, let's make sure that, this and that. Which is why, again, it's nice of her to this and that, but not a bad idea to put them in the same group. So her nominations. We got the, Marcia, Yash, and Taylor. So the girl that pops in and, has this whole conversation, oh, hello, I want to go all the states and stuff. Yeah, you didn't talk game. She even did you a double warning where she was like, okay, we're gonna eat, we're gonna time this at this point. At this point, this is almost not worth my time. Cause God, if you win this game, that's a couple hundreds a day. And she was like, oh, and so she had to walk them out of the room and stuff too. So I think that girl knew that she was not doing well, seeing as that she brought her dark glasses to the nomination. Yeah, I'm a little surprised that she didn't target the couple yet. A couple would have been an easy enough answer as well. Yet sometimes it's nice to just keep a couple around because they're more emotional, and sometimes keeping emotional people are around until it's time. It makes sense. Okay, cool. The Taylor stuff, it makes sense as well. She doesn't have much conversations with her. They haven't had much crossover yet either. And as far as I assume that there's sort of an alliance piece that we don't see that maybe she's a part of, that there's already maybe the threat that, that secondary alliance or that primary alliance of D's being, the crossovers, it might be already out of flux with. So, I'm gonna give some credit to the fact that we maybe didn't see what gameplay that the Taylor chick has already sort of put in. And whether or not that's this or that. Yeah, and the Yash makes sense. Again, not make sense, actually, doesn't at all. Should have just put that girl, but again, she doesn't, you don't want to too much at the whim, anyways. Putting someone on your own team, dicey information. And social game, good. Yet it's, we'll see. Okay. I just want to put out one little other comment too. When they put the girl up that cried that she got nominated, she walks out of the bathroom with one shoe. It's emotional. You've spent 2 days just on overload, everyone, I'm trying to meet everybody, trying to make sure the choices I'm making are choices and this and that and that and this and that. So interesting. So far, so good. There's my deep dive of the episode, which is really just this is what happened. And I don't know, man. Everyone's doing their thing. There's no huge, Taylor Hale, or her moment when she was she went to the pool table and stuff. There's no quiet moment like that says they try to put me here, but I decided I'm here. There's not a person that's quite stood out to me in that direction quite yet. Yet we'll see. There's still game to be played, and I appreciate where we've gotten so far, and also I think that workout room's upstairs, maybe. The house is awesome, still awesome. Oh, and yeah, that showman stuff starting so soon. I wonder if those pods have a little pool on the thing, but yeah, I mean people, they're gonna do what they do, and that makes sense to me, yeah, that's it for now. To the next episode, and we'll see how it goes, and again, I wonder, this and that, and we've got the voting for the, who's, the time capsule stuff, which we don't know if there's gonna be a power, or punishment, or rare. So, blah, blah. Okay, cool. Well, until next time. Laters.